Okay, here's the way the pizza stone, the 14 by 16 inch rectangular by 5/8 inch thick. This is the way it was shipped in the box. Very nice box showing you the pizza on there. Let's open this up. Inside, protected with styrofoam, and has an included scraper to remove off cheese and other ingredients. Has a thank you note, and it has use and care information on a flyer here. Then here's the stone itself, packed in this nice foam. There's the top. Well, actually, this is probably the top. This has a little logo on there, so you can use either side, I'm sure. Very nice quality. I'm going to wipe it down before I use it, and then I'm going to be making a New York style homemade dough, and then we're going to preheat this for about 4 or 5 minutes to an hour, and we're going to give this stone a try. So I want to go over some of the features that are shown on the box. Certified safe by USA FDA, and they have the codes of the test numbers. RoHS compliant, approved by the European Union, and passed LFBG German Food Code. So to let you know that the stone itself is very safe to put food on. And they talk about how you can use it on the grill, gas or charcoal. There's no odor to it, engineered to last. And of course, great heat transfer. Brick oven results at home, absorbs the moisture on the bottom of the dough. So that's just some of the great features of this stone. So we're making the homemade dough right now. So far there's just sugar, and then we're going to add salt, yeast, water, and then the bread flour. So you want to make sure it's about 125 or less degrees Fahrenheit, the water, before you put it in. So we're going to stir that, and then we're going to add oil, olive oil, and then the flour, the bread flour. Then we're going to add the yeast, and we're going to knead it. So that's the oil. So we're going to add 4.5 cups of bread flour. So we have the flour. We're going to incorporate it a little bit. Then we're going to add yeast to it now. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon. That's all it takes, very little. So you want to knead this for about a good 10 minutes until it is all incorporated. Okay, so this is how the dough looks after about 2 hours in an oven that I had set to about 75 degrees. You can see it's nice plasticky looking and very soft, and it kind of expands about 50%. So now we're ready to use it. You want to use a good quality, low moisture part skin mozzarella cheese and a good pizza sauce. This is a homemade sauce made with tomatoes and fresh garlic and olive oil. The store-bought sauces are a little too salty for my taste. You're also going to need to get yourself a paddle. This is a pretty inexpensive aluminum paddle that you can get. I'm going to keep the toppings really simple. I've got some fresh mushrooms that I lightly cooked. You want to cook the mushrooms ahead of time because they yield too much moisture. And then this is fresh spinach. Now, because the stone is going to be so hot, the pizza is going to cook really fast. So these are just going to be slightly seared, which is perfect. You also want a good Parmesan cheese. You can get some imported ones, but I just happen to have the Kraft one on hand. You're going to need that also. So I'm going to preheat the oven, put it on bake, raise the temperature to a pretty high temperature, about 450 degrees. Maybe a little more, 470. And hit the start button. We're going to let this preheat for about a half hour minimum, half hour to 45 minutes. So I have the stone right in there, and I have it, if you notice, it's not right in the center. It's one space lower so that the crust gets a little bit hotter towards the filament. So let's let that preheat, and we'll then make the pizza. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cornmeal to the paddle. help it so it doesn't stick to the dough. And I'm going to add a little flour on top of that. So you want to take about 11 ounces of the dough, and you don't want to roll it. You just want to use your hand, your fingers to stretch it and to try and get it as big as you can get it to fit on this board. So you want to take the dough that you've thinned out and you want to lay it on the paddle. And it's okay that it's irregular looking because that makes it interesting. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle or a rectangle. I like to put a little spray oil on the dough so that the sauce doesn't get the dough soggy. You then add your sauce and don't overdo the sauce. Just put the right amount on there so that it just covers it. Leave the edges open a little bit without sauce. It's okay if you get a little sauce on that so there's some plain crust. Next you want to add the Parmesan cheese a little bit so that the cheese reacts with the sauce to create little bubbles, carbon dioxide bubbles. Next you add your mozzarella and you put about half of what you're going to use, because then you're going to add your toppings and add a little more. And I'm going to add a little bit of spinach. And you don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to put some of the mushrooms on there. And then we're going to add a little more cheese to cover those toppings up. You don't want to overdo the cheese too much because it makes the pizza heavier. I like to add just a touch of garlic powder, very little, and then I like to shake on some oregano. And now it's ready to go into the oven. So the stone is very hot. I actually increased the temperature a little bit. You look at the stone, it's at 533 degrees Fahrenheit. So you want to slide the rack out as you're putting the pizza in. I like to use a spatula to help me slide the pizza off. You want to have it on an angle and slowly help it along and then slide it along until it rests right on the stone. Close the oven, rack, and close the oven up. Now this pizza should cook really fast, so you gotta watch it. So you want to have the oven light on when you're doing this. Okay, it's been in there only about 3 minutes and you can see how fast it's cooking. So a trick I've learned is you want the crust to brown a little more on the bottom, just pull the rack out, shut the oven off, and the stone stays hot for a very long time. This allows it to cook on the bottom but not burn the top. Just about another 30 seconds more. Okay, so it's time to remove it. And there you have the finished product. The crust is crunchy and chewy. The bottom is cooked perfectly. And I'm going to let it cool off, and then I'm going to slice it up and enjoy it. Look how beautiful that pizza came out. So here's the stone after I used it. I let it cool off. And you could use the included scraper. And you just want to get the larger pieces of cheese or sauce off it. No big deal. And then just take something slightly damp and just wipe across it. And that's it. If you want to put it under water to really soak it and remove that, then you have to really make sure it's thoroughly dry before you use it again or put it into storage. So what do I think about this pizza stone? I really like it. I think, as you can see, it made beautiful pizza. It worked great. The crust was very crispy. Of course, you can't taste it, but I can tell you it was very delicious. And it worked perfectly, just as I expected. So I'm going to be using this thing for many, many years. I'm going to give this a full 5-star rating on my video review channel. And I hope this video review helped you with your buying decisions. Thanks for watching.